Bill, George, it's a pleasure to spend some time with you, and thanks for sharing some perspective with our ExecuNet members.
Great. Thanks, Joe.
I was quite interested to hear your reference earlier today on the stage to I think it was youth soccer. I'm actually coaching my son's 5-year-old soccer team, and really figuring that if I can be successful in that kind of environment, I can be successful in business moving forward. But it led me to think about what you might have learned outside the business environment, in life, on the playing field, wherever it might be, that has most shaped some of your business perspectives.
It's great, Joe. I run through an article called "Everything I Learned About Leadership I Learned from Coaching Soccer."
Okay.
Because one of the things you have to learn is, there's a sideline as a coach. You can't go on the field, and you can't do it. But what you can do is you have to make sure you get people in the right positions on the field. In soccer, the person who's a great striker or a great goal scorer should not be pushed back on defense, and that great goalie shouldn't be pushed out in the field. Let them be where they're really good. And I think great organizations are realizing it's not about the person on top. The person on top is like my friend Ben Zander I just saw. Is like an orchestra conductor. They're not playing the instruments. They're making sure everyone's playing the right instrument. They don't mix them all up. And they're being really good at it. And I think too many organizations lose sight of that. And leaders surround themselves with sycophants that all think alike, act alike, tell them how great they are. And they don't really get that great people in every position. Let them play to their strengths, not to their weaknesses. As Tal Ben-Shahar was saying this morning, let them play to their strengths. Don't pit them into their weaknesses, okay?
Okay.
And I think that's key to building an organization. That it's true for an organization of 10 people or 10,000 or 100,000. The same principles apply in how you run how you lead an organization.
Okay. Is authentic leadership really a potential force multiplier with regard to talent in the organization? Is there a real dividend that can be achieved by hiring, recruiting, selecting people who are authentic,
right,
and therefore have the capacity to spread it internally?
Definitely there is, and I think we should allow people to be their authentic selves. A lot of organizations acculturate people away from their authentic selves. They want them to dress a certain way, look a certain way. This is the way we do it here. This is the way we talk. Don't say too much. No, let them be themselves. That's being the authentic person. And then find the right place in that playing field for them. But let them develop as real people. And I think the key to an organization today is having hundreds, if not thousands, of excellent leaders. Because if you're running a big global organization, like my friend Sam Palmisano at IBM, got 440,000 people, he can't just have some great people in Armonk. He's got to have great people in every country he's operating in. And maybe he needs to put people out there to see what they can do. But the greatest waste in an organization today is internal politics. That's where the big waste of time is. So if you can allow people to collaborate without going through a chain of command, without playing a lot of games, but on a horizontal basis, we can go to organizations where people like my son has 19 direct reports. He runs a global organization. His direct reports all over the world. So each of these people's got to be really good at their position. Again, he can't play the game for them. They got to be really good at their position. He's got to let them, be those great leaders they can be in their environment. And he's a coach. He's standing on the sideline coaching them. So I think getting away from the idea that it's about power, it's about empowering other people to step up and lead.
Okay.
And take responsibility and be accountable. Empowerment means you're accountable for the outcome. But most people want to be that way.
Right. This morning you mentioned Hewlett-Packard and
yes,
their over-reliance on external talent, particularly at the top.
Yeah.
And it must be demoralizing for people to see the organization constantly relying on the outsiders.
Yeah.
I'm wondering, how do you reconcile internal executive development with external recruiting and management succession? What's the right mix there, Bill?
Great question. As Lou Gerstner once said, any organization that can't develop the top leaders from within has failed. The board of directors has failed, and I believe that fervently. Yeah, we want to recruit great talent. Sometimes we want to bring in mid-career technical talent. Not everyone spends their whole career at Medtronic. So we had our 80-20 rule, 80% within, 20% outside. HP always developed great talent. Is it conceivable to you that 320,000 people, when Mark Hurd got let go and had his problem, that they couldn't find one inside? And so they brought in Leo, and the first thing he does is wipe out all the executive vice presidents. Then he wipes out 6 senior vice presidents and changes the strategy. Then he changed it again. Now Meg's in there. Who knows what's going to happen? If I were, I'd be so totally demoralized. I'd much rather be part of an organization where I knew what was expected of me and I could grow within that organization, not have all these political shenanigans going on.
Right, right.
So one of the questions that I'm wrestling with is how do we get those thousands of leaders? How do we get hundreds, if not thousands? I'm working with Unilever. They're taking their leadership now, authentic leadership, True North, to 500 people. How do you sustain that? And I think one of the most important things, this book, I just wrote on True North groups. And by the way, everyone at the conference is getting a copy of it because I thought it was so important that they have that so they can think about, I can develop myself today. We're learning at Harvard in our work in a 6-person group with a group of peers, maybe a facilitator, maybe not, just as well as I can going to some fancy leadership development program. So how do I get that networking? Where is that network? How do I create my own personal network that empowers me to go out, to be that authentic person, that'll be there for me if I lose my job, if I have a health problem, if I'm just frustrated with my boss, if I'm concerned, who can I talk to? And corporations and life can be a very lonely place. We need someone to affiliate with. I've had a group like this, a True North group, for 36 years with a group of guys, 8 of us, and another group of couples, 4 couples, 8 people, for 28 years. It's been a godsend. But I'm amazed at the bonding that comes out of these groups and our executives at Harvard.
I guess you have to see each other in each other's underwear to really sort of understand, who a person is,
right.
What their strengths, what their weaknesses are, how you can complement them as a friend, as a colleague, is that?
Yes, and the underlying principle of that is, will you accept me for who I am? Do I have to put on a facade to impress you? If I expose you to all my vulnerabilities. By the way, these groups only work because there's a bond of confidentiality. We actually recommend people to sign a contract. So you have to be confidential. So anything you say to me or I say to you doesn't go outside the group. We all commit to be open. We commit to trusting each other, not acting in distrust. And then finally, non-judgmental feedback. Here's how I'm receiving you, but I'm not judging. Or if you share something with me that's very personal, I'm not judging you for that. By the way, when you do that, you'll find out everyone else has similar kinds of issues too.
Okay, but it sounds as if something central there is a commitment to listen, a commitment to learn,
Yes.
a commitment to open up and be reciprocal
Yeah.
in terms of the exchange. Is that accurate?
Exactly. Joe, I'm not a good listener. I like to talk too much. So I've had to learn how to become an engaged listener and ask the right questions, frame that so I can get the best out of you. Because if all I'm doing is telling you, like I used to do, certainly that's not going to empower you to be your best. You're going to get the message, but that's not going to allow you to go forward and take those risks and innovation and be the best and most authentic Joe that you can be.